All right, there we go. Put the curls down. We're here. We're live. Monday, late afternoon, early afternoon. But we're here. We made it. Another week has gone by. I hope that you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Those of you in America, I learned. I mean, I didn't really learn. I mean, you should have known, right? Because that's about us Americans, the Pilgrims and the Indians and stuff like that. The Native Americans, the Pilgrims, the Cowboys, all that good shit. So that is what Thanksgiving was all about, right? Anyway, yeah, I found out I have a couple clients that are across the world, and they told me that they don't really do Thanksgiving. So probably should have clicked that all that belt buckled weird like religious witch hunting stuff and chasing turkeys and all those little cartoons we had to draw as kids. Were very American, right? So I'm gonna give everyone a few minutes to come in. No cigar today. I want to thank my lovely girlfriend for motivating me to clean up the office. The office is finally clean. The closet is organized. Everything's in order. Got to move up the picture from Ink's daughter that she made and put that a little bit higher. Very nice to receive the first Mystic fan art. That's been there for a while, though. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Um, but yeah, just give everyone a few minutes to come in. Hopefully, you guys don't just use Thanksgiving as the excuse to be grateful. I mean, it was a good excuse to reach out to people you haven't talked to in a while. I know that's what I did. A lot of people I haven't spoke to in a while. It's like, you know what? Spending that morning in reflection and thinking about all the people who've made a difference in my life, who were very important to me, who maybe I haven't spoke to in a while, and just sending them all a quick message, checking on them, wishing them a happy Thanksgiving. And then, some of that's led to, hey, we're going to meet up again, hang out. And whether that happens or not, it's all right, because I just wanted to check in on everyone and genuinely appreciate them. And yeah, and I hope you guys did the same. And I hope you had a great time with your friends and family, or with your friends if you did a Friendsgiving. Right after Thanksgiving ended, here in Chicago, we wound up getting hit with a snowstorm, but I can't really call it a snowstorm. We've seen way worse, anywhere from 6 inches to a foot. But 6 inches and a foot, who's counting? They're both big, right, ladies? But yeah, no one's counting. Size doesn't matter. Snow doesn't matter. It's all right. But we got snowed in, and what a perfect movie to watch. Me and Lily put on good old Hateful Eight. We didn't really get into it. We were busy talking about other stuff, and it's a longer movie. I think it's more of a guy's movie. But ladies, if you're interested in that movie, let us know in the comments. But Tarantino movie, that's usually for the boys. But anyway, that's where I was. Well, in the snowy time though, you get a reflection, because usually snow comes and then ice comes, and that wet, sleety snow gets frozen when the temp drops, and now you got layers of ice underneath the snow, and it's a clusterfuck, and nobody wants to go out or anything, right? Well, today I leave the house for the first time. All the stuff started coming down while I was at work on Saturday, and then head home, and it's still coming down. And then basically I left the house this morning, shoveled Lily's car out, well, dusted it off on the parking lot. They did a good job. And it didn't feel as cold as it said it was, right? I got in the car today. I left the bank. I had to do some stuff at the bank. I'm leaving the bank, and I see the temperature is at 30 degrees. I'm like, it doesn't feel cold though. But anyone who's not from Chicago, you go to a place that's 30 degrees, it's going to be fucking cold as balls. It's going to be horrible. You're going to hate it. Not that we like it here, but we're used to it to a degree. But the same thing for us. You go up to Alaska. I had a friend move up there recently. You go up to Alaska, those guys are in the negatives, and it's freezing cold, and there's barely any sunlight. That's more cold and depressing and fucked up for us. So when we do drop to those temps, because Chicago does get that, and you go up to 30 degrees, it feels like a warm summer day. And 30 degrees, even for us, it's shit weather. But I thought about that as I was driving back. I'm like, that's a perception. And you have to control your perceptions and find the good in the bad. 30 degrees is fucking horrible. 30 degrees, sleet, snow, slush, ice, all that shit sucks. 30 degrees ain't melting the ice. Maybe you're starting to teeter on warming it up a little bit, but it's not going away. For all intents and purposes, you are still in the shit. It still sucks. But when you change the way you see it, Here's is a really good practical example. Watch. What am I going to say? The thing I always say: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Looking at 30 degrees as, good Lord, thank you, God, for saving me from those negative degrees and the ones and the twos and the threes, bringing me up to a nice warm 30. 30 still sucks, but you feel more blessed for it, and you know it's only here temporarily. You know it's going to change because you've seen this story before. Now, maybe on your manifesting journey, you haven't seen the story unfold in your personal life before, but you've heard the stories. You trust that, hey, this worked out for everybody else in the past. I believe these stories. I believe in what these people are saying, and I believe that this stuff, there's something to it. Just like as a little kid seeing your first winter. You don't know what's going to end. It might just be in your mind, oh, yeah, this is just the way things are. But all the adults have gone through it before, and you don't feel panicked because the people who've been through it before aren't panicked by it. They know that it's going to pass. So in your mind, as a new manifester, new mystic, whatever you want to call yourself, you're somebody trying to learn the law of assumption, law of attraction. You look to other people who are successful in this realm, and it's like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Like I always told you guys, there's nothing different from me and you. I just have a channel and you don't. All you have to do is a couple clicks in an email and you got a channel too. And you talk about what you've been through. You know, I was in all of your shoes once. I went through a bunch of bullshit and came out clean on the other side, like Morgan Freeman in that movie. So, you know, you go through all the bullshit and wind up clean on the other side. But you have to trust that at the end of that tunnel, there's freedom. So at the end of this 30-degree day, there's going to be a 40 and a 50 and a 60, and eventually we'll be back up to the 90s here in Chicago. So it's like, I realized that the perception, you could go through winter saying, man, I want the 80-degree day. I want my 80 degrees back. I want my 90 degrees back. This sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? We get those days and everyone's bitching for, it's too hot. It's too hot. I hate summer. And then winter comes again and they're like, oh, I fucking hate this. So if you have a perception of someone who hates and is annoyed and feels the worst and looks for the lack and looks for the worst case scenario, that's your perception. Your perception is on the worst case of every situation versus the best. You know, I love 80s, 90s, 100 hot temperature. I don't even care if it's humid. I like that temperature. So in the summertime when I like to tan, I feel 70s cold. But I don't bitch because I know that we're going down to zero at a certain point. And we could be at zero. There's been winters we haven't had it. But it's like, I know that a bad day is coming down the road or possibly is coming. And this moment now is not horrible. It might not be ideal, but it's not horrible. I'm somewhere in the middle. And in life, that's where we are most of the time. We're somewhere in the middle. We're in the middle of, this is the worst day of my life, and this is the best day of my life. But when you get to the best day of your life, you're going to look and say, it could be a little bit better. When you're at the worst day of your life, you start thinking, how could this get any worse? I bet it can. And you start finding reasons it could get worse. And when it's a great day, you start looking at how it could be better, and you just keep aiming for something higher and more far out there. And you're not, focused on the moment. That's what life is, the moment. So most of the time in the moment, things aren't as bad as they seem. We're either being haunted by our past or we're being afraid of our future. Those are our two options when we're not focused in the moment. If you're going to go back to the past, think of a lovely, good memory. This is a revision. Or go back and rewrite. Well, revision is going back and rewriting an old memory as if it played out the way you wanted. So if you're stuck in an old memory, revise it. If you're thinking back on the old, the old past stories of your life, go back to the good ones. What do you gain from staying in the negative ones? And if you can't break out of them, that's where revision comes in. But going to the future, you get scared because you're playing out how this could go wrong in a million different ways. Whereas basically, they call it the metaphorical shooting from the hip, just going out and doing what you got to do. Like today I had to do some stuff at the bank, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. I didn't really visualize it last night. I just knew, hey, I got to go to the bank, and what I got to get done is going to get done. I told Lily about it. I told my family. I told my friends. I'm like, I got to go to the bank and get this stuff done. I've been procrastinating it for too long. I'm going to go. So when you're afraid, you're going to procrastinate, put stuff off, and avoid it, and you're going to assume the worst case for it. When you just shoot from the hip and you don't give a fuck, it's like, hey, whatever. I got to go to the bank and get this stuff done. I didn't know how it's going to play out. I didn't care about who I was going to see there. And the right lady, the right sequence of events for stuff to fall into place, the right bank that I picked, all this stuff, everything fell into place perfectly because I wasn't overthinking it. They always say ignorance is bliss. And it is, because when you're intelligent or smart or realist is a pessimist in disguise. I know Brian likes that one. But I when you're in that mind of like, oh, I just focus on reality, I just know how things are. I'm you don't I gotta be practical. I gotta plan this out. When you're thinking like that, you'll overthink yourself to a point of like, I didn't need all this information, or you'll think yourself into a corner and back yourself out of doing whatever you're going to do. So ignorance is bliss means I want to do this, I'm going to go do it. You don't question it, you just go do it. Does it backfire sometimes? Yeah, but when you look at everything from the world of you can't fuck this up and it's all working out in your favor, like I've always say, it's like, okay, this didn't play out right in this moment or the way I would have hoped it would, or it seems to be something bad, but I know everything's working out in my favor. Somehow that negative always winds up being something better. Like if I didn't go there, I had some other issue. That issue got resolved because this person was able to look into it. And, she didn't have to do that, but she did for me and it helped me out. And when that way it was being played out, it's like, it didn't solve this problem. It was like getting something paid off. And it's like, oh, they weren't able to close that out, but they're like, hey, but you had more money over here that we refunded because there was another fuck up. With that money, I'm able to pay off, and then it's only $8, but hey, I'm $8 in the green, right? Versus 111 out the window. So there was just some, things played out when it was like the words I heard were not what I wanted to hear, but I'm like, nah, this still works out in my favor. I'm affirming it in my mind as I'm being told what I don't want to hear. And then I hear, oh, wait, hold on. And I don't react because I feel this is what's going to get me what I want. And I relax and I let it play out, and it did. It played out just the way I wanted to. So every day there's little victories. The law of assumption is for solving every problem in life. So you don't have to sit there with all this, well, it's all about SP. There's a whole bunch of other things to address besides a specific person, besides a job, besides a promotion, besides money, what all this other stuff. Life is bigger than that. And it's about becoming who you want to be. And that does require at certain points to elevate your money, to change your career, to win back an X, to get a new SP. Whatever it is, life requires change at points. But don't stress too much worrying about how it's going to happen. Go with the flow and change the way you look at things and the things you look at. Change, again, going back to perception. So perception on the weather, that's an example. Perception on your body, it's like, oh, I think I look like shit. Everyone who works out, you're going to get this thing called body dysmorphia, where you're looking at yourself in the mirror saying, I'm a big fat slob, I look like shit, blah, blah, blah. You got all this negative shit to say about yourself. But you're putting in the work, you feel really good, and maybe you didn't look at your body that day, and you're getting a whole bunch of compliments from people that you haven't seen in a long time, or your family or your friends, and it's like, nah, they're lying to me, because you can only see it yourself. And I'm talking from experience with the gym bros. How many of us joke about, oh, we're fat slobs, we're this, we're that, we're looking really good, but we always got some negative thing to say about ourselves, and sure enough, it gets played out by somebody else as a quote unquote hater. You would see it like in the fitness community, like, oh, these people are just hating. But how much negative shit have you said to yourself? If you keep talking shit about yourself, other people are going to parrot it, and maybe they're going to say it as a backhanded comment or a remark, or like they're going to like break your balls about something, and then you take it and you internalize it. Yeah, I am fat. I am this. I knew it. My joke was reflected to me in a joking way by somebody else, but if they said it, then they saw it, and then now I'm going to internalize it more, and I'm going to joke about myself more because I'm using it to drive myself. So again, you'll never be how you want to be. But if you're like, I got a six-pack, I look good, you're lying to yourself, essentially, because it's like in the moment you don't have it. That's manifesting. You're lying to yourself in the moment, but you're creating a belief in yourself. Then one day someone's going to compliment you, and it's going to be an honest, genuine compliment. You're like, I knew I've been doing good, because I'm conditioning myself. Then I hear it, and then I feel it, and it's like that positive reinforcement. Now I couple that compliment with the stuff I've been saying to myself and that physical effort I'm putting in, and I continue to drive it, and I'm going to get two compliments, and I'm going to feel even better about myself. This is using external stimuli or reactions or stuff you see in the 3D world. You're using that to influence your mind to feel good about what you're already telling yourself. Now, if you're talking shit to yourself and you receive those compliments, you're going to perceive them as lies or bullshit, or people who are talking shit about you in a way, or making a backhanded insult by saying you look good even though you don't. So again, you've created now an enemy outside because you have an enemy within. This is a practical way to show how the law of assumption works. All these battles start and end in your own mind. And that's what I've been trying to get across. This is where it comes down to a specific person. It's like if you got this, oh, I'm unlucky in love, oh, I'm retarded when it comes to talking to women, I can't fucking say shit, like, oh, I have no capability to do this or do that, I'm always awkward on dates, blah blah blah, I never get any matches. Guess what? You have just conditioned yourself and created a new personality. And like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your personality determines your personal reality, right? So you just created a whole new personal reality for yourself where you're rejected, you're bad online, you're retarded when it comes to speaking to women, you're fucked up when it comes to going on dates, you're awkward in public situations. So you've just created that character and become that person. So take a breath. I'm going through all this stuff. But that's the point I'm trying to make, though, is your perception created that character and solidified it by finding evidence in the real world that fits that. And the same thing, I put another little note for relationship, but weather, body, relationship. So something as simple as, hey, I'm going for a drive today to go to the bank and do some stuff. I see the temperature, and it kind of like led me on this whole little thing. But, when you're in lack and you don't have something and you feel like, oh, something's missing in life, it creates that feeling of nostalgia, looking for something better. So it's like, okay, you go through a breakup or something. Now you miss that person more than anything else, and you can't enjoy what's in front of you. Even though there's a whole bunch of great stuff that's happening in your life, you feel a lack because that relationship isn't there. Or you lose a job and you feel a lack because you feel like something's missing out of your life, or maybe you're less than now because you don't have that money coming in or whatever. But you don't. But then you're going to parties, or people are inviting you out, people are complimenting you, people are trying to spend time with you, but you can't enjoy those little moments because you're so stressed about, oh, something is missing. I remember better times. So I love nostalgia. Like, I'm nostalgic for me. Look, you see Clone Troopers right over there. That was something I always wanted as a kid, to have a big Clone Trooper army. I bought it as an adult, but that's something I'm nostalgic for. It reminds me of good times in my life. Reminds me of like growing up and my parents hiding the Star Wars figures in the tree or whatever, or me and my brother coming up with like action figure games or making little movies with the plastic armament. That stuff reminds me of a good time. So that's something, that a moment in time that has passed, that you can look back fondly on nostalgia, and you can still recreate it in the future, and you can still talk about it fondly in a good way. But I'm talking about the negative way of perceiving it is something's missing, and it's like, it's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And you're just focused on the worst case scenario, and you're looking for lack. It becomes like a thing where you're looking for more lack. It's like good times when you were a kid or when you were younger, or good times looking back fondly, is a fun, smiling nostalgia that creates a good feeling. It's like going back and focusing on your good memories creates a good feeling in the present, which projects a good future. But if you went back to all the times when I struck out with my little crushes when I was a kid, and like, oh, I'm like the little chubby kid and I'm being pushed by all my friends as a member, who sticks out, right? Like one of the first girls I ever asked out, all my friends were pushing me, and I was like the little chubby kid with curly hair. I was like, and then like next thing I know, she's right in front of me. And I was like, do you want to go out sometime? Yeah, we could all hang out. Oh, I was thinking like just me and you. Oh, sorry about that. Then it's like, oh, and then that kind of creates a hole for the rest of my like teenage and formative years after that, from being grammar school to my teenage years to my formative years. It's like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm rejected. And then you wind up finding a group of friends with the friends I was hanging out with. They were like, I remember standing in a corner of a bar and I'd be like, oh, let's go talk to these girls and stuff like that. And still remembering, and we would joke about all the times we struck out with women. So it becomes our past reality, stays as our present reality, becomes our future reality. So it's like you have to, like they say, the buck stops here. You got to stop it right here and say, nope, that's not who I am anymore. We're not going to stand here and be like, and this is a distinct one I remember, it's fucking standing in the corner on New Year's Eve with a group of guys that I was hanging out with, and like I'm like, oh, let's go talk to these women. Like, nah, I'm fucking retarded when it comes to talking to women. It's like, yeah, we're fucking weird, and like all this shit's like, okay, so did we go approach anyone? No. There was other times where like that, and I was like, fuck it, buck stops here, and I'm embracing it. But my old reality is still playing through, and it's like there was no confidence. But then when I got into this whole manifesting thing, me and SP going through breakups and stuff, I was a lot smoother because I didn't care. And I realized I had that confidence in the feedback from her, like, hey, you're an attractive guy. You're this, you're that. And I felt very confident and on level 10. So it's like, even when she's not there and I'm missing her in that lack, I'm able to carry that positivity and that identity of someone who is with his who is confident in himself and can get whoever he wants. So that was, removing yourself from a situation like that, surrounding yourself in a more positive situation, and sticking to who you are. Happy Monday, Mama Mystic. Yeah, that's all right if you're stuck at work. I will be for the next 5 days as well. Nan, what's up? Let's see. So the next thing I want to talk into, I made a little flow chart today on how things are going to flow in your life. So we talk about the lack of and noticing the lack. We're going to move over to the gratitude. So being grateful for something in the emptiness of life where there is nothing. Maybe you can't find a single good thing to draw on, which I challenge you. There's something good in everybody's life, but you just refuse to see it sometimes. So if you're not grateful for the blessings that you have in your life, this is where that Bible line comes in. For those who have everything, more is given. For those who have nothing, more is taken away. They call it the Matthew principle. If you have everything, even though you have nothing, but you feel like, let's say you got no money in the world and you got no relationship, but you got a loving home and parents and siblings with you, you have everything and you feel like it. And then focusing on that and like just enjoying that. And then you start fantasizing about, if I had a job, I could bring this stuff in and do good for my family. And that would feel good. How would it feel to be this person? But you're already in a good mood. You're energetically raised up. Okay, say you got nobody in your life, but you got a good job, then you could do that. Or if you got nobody and nothing, but you got your body in line, and it's like, I feel really good and healthy and everything, you start building up the story. People might want to coach with me. People might look up to me. Women are going to desire me. Oh, I can reconnect with my family, whatever it is. So you could come from any different walk of life. Everybody has one gift or one good thing going for them, and it's your job to find it. And you find that through gratitude, taking some time alone, sitting in the dark. And this is perfect for Thanksgiving time, but it's like sitting alone in the dark or in a quiet room where nothing can be distracting you, no external stimuli, nothing like that. You sit alone and I'm grateful for this and this and this, and you will find in your life something good. There's very rare instances, if any, that people have nothing but horrible, horrible things happen to them again and again and again and again. And if they do, it's like, what do you keep focusing on? That becomes your identity. You have to remove yourself from the identity of bad things happening to you. You sit there and focus on things you're grateful for. And then miraculously, good opportunities. Like how many times have good things popped up for me that I was not expecting, manifesting anything? It's just like, wow, this is a beautiful opportunity to pop up. How did I get so lucky? Oh, yeah, because I look in the good in everything. My perception is good follows me. Good seeks me out. I'm always given the best opportunities in life, and those things start to flow to you. So it's getting yourself conditioned that you feel worthy of that you find the evidence of things where that's worked out for you in the past, and you focus on that. So anyway, it's the opposite of focusing on the lack. You focus on gratitude. Gratitude creates everything out of nothing. Lack creates a pit where there is everything. So it's all about where your focus is. Where your focus goes, energy flows. So focus on everything, even if there is not physically everything yet. And then, through that process too, it's the next rule of manifestation is you get detached, and through detachment, whether it's because you feel like, you know what, I don't care. I've done all this visualization stuff. I've done my affirmations. I've done all that. I don't care. I don't want this specific person. I don't care if I get that job, whatever. And then why is it always that it flows in after that? And I've told this point a million times, but I want to keep hammering this one home. When things magically seem to flow to you, when you quote unquote give up or detach, detachment isn't giving up. It's walking in faith. That's the point I always try to make. So it's like you've done all this stuff to try and create a new reality in your mind, trying to convince yourself that you're this new person, trying to convince yourself that that person loves you, that you get opportunities, all this stuff. You've created this whole picture in your mind, but you didn't see any results, so you got fed up and you said, I'm done with this. Well, all that conditioning stuck in your brain somewhere. And now what you did by detaching or quitting is you took the pressure off, because now you don't care if you see any result. And through that, you've now relaxed your nervous system. You've relaxed your mind. It's like, I don't care, but you're still going to naturally drift into those scenes and pictures. How many times have I quit or detached on something where I was like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Your mind starts to open up to that possibility now, because you're not holding it back and fighting it with, things were like this before, so how will they ever get better? And how will this happen? You stop looking for the how because you don't care if it happens in general. And through that feeling state that you're creating, you remove the doubt because you're detached. You don't care. I already doubt it's going to happen. I don't care. But that doubt simulates faith. because it's like, well, whatever. I'm still doing the techniques like Neville's climb a ladder. It's funny because Mama Mystic was just talking about climbing a ladder today too. But through climbing a ladder, it's like you write down, I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. All that stuff. We all know the famous Neville experiment. You say it, you write it down everywhere. You tell people you're not going to climb a ladder. You tell yourself you're not going to climb a ladder. You will not climb a ladder. Then sure enough, an opportunity arises where you have to climb a ladder. Well, it's the same thing with anything else. There's no feeling besides the ladder thing. So that detachment lets you not feel anything. You just kind of let it go and let it flow, right? I don't need to climb the ladder, but I want to prove some manifesting. I don't need this specific person. I don't need this relationship, but I'm gonna let it go, let it roll, let it flow. So in time it will follow through because you actually walked in faith unknowingly. So let me take a coffee break for a second. If you guys got questions, ask them down below. But faith allows the law to work. Next thing I want to talk about is watch your assumptions. Well, no, assumptions create your reality. Whatever you assume to be true about a person or the world or yourself will become true. You will become what you think about most often. And like Earl Nightingale says, that's the strangest secret of the world, is you become what you think about most often. So if you want to be a wonderful, successful businessman or a loving wife or a great father or a content creator that's making millions of dollars on doing whatever you want to do or whatever it is, whatever dreams and desires you have, and you stick to it and you keep putting the same picture, affirmations, sayings and stuff, they will create a picture of who you are in your own mind. And eventually you are, through process of hypnosis or self-hypnosis, changing yourself, changing your personality, changing who you are, and it will change your personal reality. So watch your assumptions. You find that when you find positive in the negative, that's how you save your perception. I'm going off my little notes I put, but finding the positive and the negative saves your perception. So whatever you're looking at in life, okay, here's a negative circumstance. I'm going to find somewhere in this negative, no matter how ugly or weird or deranged it sounds, I'm going to find how that's positive. Be the worst thing in the world happens to you. Somehow this is positive. Somehow not all is lost. Not everything is fucked up. And this works out in my favor. And I'm not telling you this shit's easy, because I've been in these situations where it's not fucking easy. You know, being told that, oh, your mom's sick and out the door. Your uncle is, his brain is shutting down and he's going to have to go to a care facility. Your SP doesn't want to be with you. She's choosing somebody else. She's going to go be with someone else and she doesn't care what happens to you. Boss telling you, we're trying to get you fired from this job. All those things. I've been in situations like that where it's like, oh shit, my world is collapsing. Like, what am I going to do without a mom? What am I going to do with watching, like, what's going to happen to our family if my uncle goes to a facility? What's going to happen? What's it called? If I lose this job, you know, who am I if I lost my girlfriend? Like, you go through these moments of crisis, and it's like you learn to work through it. Where's the positive? Okay, you don't have a girlfriend now. It's like, well, you're saving money. You don't have to go on so many dates. All right, you're going to build up more money and more wealth. That's one. Okay, so that was one of the positives I took out of it. And you know, sure enough, thank God for manifestation. She came back, and I spent way more. So, but then it's like, okay, lack of money. Oh no, how am I going to pay off these credit cards? How am I going to pay off all this stuff I'm doing? That was actually a goal I had for the year, by the way, guys. I met that one. Another goal, shout out to, while we're talking about SP and girlfriend, this is off topic, but thank you to Lily for motivating me and pushing me to get the certificate done. Thank you to Mama Mystic. You also broke my balls on this a bit about go take your test. So finally took my test and I got certified personal trainer. So if you guys need a CPT, certified personal trainer who is CPR certified, I am here. But anyway, let me get back to the main point. You want to change your perception of things, and this helps create and maintain the feeling or the news story. So you manifest your specific person back, right? Most common ones, what we all want, right? Okay, I got my specific person back. My life is great. Now what? If you cannot maintain the person that you became and you cannot maintain the story, then you're going to start looking for ways to tear the story apart. You're going to start looking for, yeah, I remember when, and you're going to focus on all the bad things that happen between you and this person, and you're going to take action, say things, or do whatever naturally to destroy that relationship. And there's your negative outcome. It's like you are creating your reality by focusing on it, and then natural 3D inspired action events come up and you take them, and it repels the specific person, or you just create a thing where it's like, if it's one man or a million, all will play their part. Some other external factor will remove the specific person from your life because that's what you want. And you might not want it, but that's what you're focused on. Whatever you focus on is what you truly want. Your subconscious doesn't play games. That's why you cannot joke negatively about yourself. You cannot talk shit about yourself. And am I guilty as everyone else? Yeah. I mean, I love coming from a comedy background. I love breaking balls with the guys. I love fucking around. I love making fun of myself here and there, but you got to stop. And it's like, it's not healthy for you at the end of the day. Never joke about yourself in an unloving way. You can make jokes and break balls and whatever, but make sure if you're doing it, you keep reaffirming and you are solidly set in your new, if you're going to make one joke about yourself, make sure you got 10 affirmations that you're saying to yourself in your head real quick and let them go after that. And don't sit there all day going crazy, but you got to make sure you stick in this story. The story creates your new reality, and it's to the degree that you could stick with it. Because this all leads me to the next point is a properly programmed mind. But I'm going to thank Nan. Thank you. Yes, finally happy to get this personal training thing done. Next is the nutritionist degree, and then early next year, I'll be going through, I don't know how long the course is and stuff, but I'll be doing the hypnotherapy stuff. Again, that would be me being able to be a solid external factor to help you hypnotize yourself. But in the meantime, you got to base it off what I got in the videos, what we go through in the coaching, and it's all a self-hypnosis thing. When the hypnotist is gone, when the manifesting coach is gone, when your friend is gone, when your manifesting partner is gone, you are alone with your own thoughts. You go to sleep with your own thoughts at night. You guys got to focus on yourself and your own thoughts. So make sure we're building up a strong mind that's willing and able to combat any negative thoughts or assumptions that may pop into your mind. And it can be a battle and a war at times. When I say you are the guardian of your own mind, I'm fucking dead serious. You are the Saint Michael of the heaven that is your mind. You have to protect all of your thoughts like they are the most precious thing in the world, because they are. Your thoughts are things, and if you let one bad thought slip in, it could poison all the other thoughts. It's like, what do they say? The bad apple poisons the bunch or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a fucking farmer, but whatever it is, your bad thoughts can poison the rest. You let one bad thought slip in, it's like that little white lie. It just grows and grows and grows. So you got to be that Saint Michael at the guardian, being the guardian of your mind to protect your mind. So that leads me to a properly programmed mind. Properly programmed mind is arming that Saint Michael of your mind, of the heaven in your mind. You're arming him with the best artillery, the best armor, whatever, and defense systems that a mind and manifesting money can buy, right? You're preparing where it's like, oh, look, here's a negative news article. Cool. That's out there. That's not here. That's not in my reality right now. Something's negative right in front of your face. How's this working out in my favor? Or like Neville talking about almost getting in a fight with that one guy who was bigger than him. It's like, you cannot touch me because you are not on the same mental level as me. There have been plenty of times where I was doing stupid shit where it's like I could have got my ass kicked by dudes way bigger than me who probably knew how to fight way better than me. And it's like, but just that assumption that I'm blessed, I'm protected by God, I am one with God, God is within me, that type of stuff. When you keep yourself in that positive mentality that I'm blessed, I'm looked after, everything's working out in my favor, nothing bad happens to me. I can't fuck this up. Everything's going to work out in my favor. Like those are like, I'm just saying them again and again because that's how they run through my mind. It's like, it's like some of them start to repeat, some go here. It's just a random spurt of all these fucking positive affirmations. So that's where you want your mind to be programmed that way, because you're looking for the good and you start finding opportunities like that. So it makes success easier. You could see more opportunities and you can see solutions where you previously denied them. I'm not going to say that they weren't there before, because the opportunities and solutions are always there 100% of the time. But when you're focused on negativity, for those who have nothing, all is taken, you're looking to find out how everything is not working out in your favor. So you can have a solution right in front of your face. How many times has there been a solution right in front of our face? And to quote Mama Mystic, as she once said when I was a kid, she would say, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. So it's like that positive solution was right there, right in front of your face. But do you ever like go there and grab that solution? No, because you're so focused on poor me, poor me. You're already on the end of like, how is someone else going to figure this out? How are they going to help me? how would this get resolved? I wonder how, you know what, when this person shows up, it will get fixed. If not, I'm sure I could go on without it. And that's a defeatist mentality. That's assuming that the worst has already happened and there's no way of fixing it. So you want to be in the opposite state of that. The state of, okay, this is all working out in my favor. How is this working out in my favor? I don't know, but I know it will. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's a solution right there. And then you figured it out. At the end, it's always your choice. It's your choice what mindset you're going to be in, what your perception of reality is going to be. Nobody else's. Nobody can help you. You can be guided by a coach. You could be guided by a friend. You could be guided by family. You could be guided by God and the angels. But if you don't choose to accept that as your reality, it won't be. Because at the end of the day, you have free will and you are the operant power and a co-creator in this universe. And if you do not choose to be the one who makes that decision or that call or see yourself that way, you will never have that opportunity. With that, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. That was my spiel and my lecture. If you guys want personal training, workout plans, and anything like that, if you're in the Chicagoland area, I will train you. Let me know. I'm now a certified trainer. Thank you, Lily and Mama Mystic. Thank you again, Lily, for motivating me to clean the office. It's way better. So I feel so much more at peace in here now. Who would have known? Almost like I always say, to have a clean space and have a clean mental attitude. It's almost like what I was saying was true. I got motivated to clean the rest of the place, but the office was the one thing because there was just so much shit. But you know what? I appreciate her for sitting in here and keeping me company while I clean, because sometimes that's all you need. And, you know, me and Nan talked about that before too. You know, sometimes you just need a cleaning buddy, somebody to sit there with you while you clean. That helps you get the work done. But yeah, so I appreciate her for that. With that, guys, I'm going to get into the wrapping it up. I'm going to have another membership video out today. If you are a member, please let me know if you're not seeing the videos. Please let me know if you're a scammer that called me. Chloe Hernandez, you're reaching out with a financial analysis team. Thank you for that. I'm sure Chloe Hernandez will call me 14 more times, and then tomorrow it will be somebody else. But, you know, I wanted to tell you guys, what else we got? Fucking everyone's ears probably got fucking blown out from that fucking bullshit. How do I turn this down? Put it over there. Anyway, with that, guys, I'll be live on Discord Wednesday night. Maybe a guest appearance from SP. We're playing it by ear. She's coming by. I'm going to make a post. If you have questions for a specific person who has been manifested, bring them up. If you got relationship questions, if you got life questions, if you got manifesting questions in general, bring it up. We'll be doing it live together. We'll probably do 2 of them. One of them will be for the membership only. And we'll get a little bit more into the details of our personal stuff, maybe. I don't know. This is an idea, but we're going to do another live there. Saturdays, I'm going to be doing Saturday sermons, whether it's in the morning or nighttime. We're playing it by ear. I've been trying to get that off the ground, but that will be more Bible-based manifesting teaching, but all the same stuff pretty much, because I do heavily base it out of the Bible. If you're on Discord, like I said, we got the live stream this Wednesday. I'm going to have a membership video up today, and I have a list of videos I'm going to make for this channel. And Muscular Mystic, if you guys want and you're interested in that, you know, I don't have as many videos on there, but it's got some pretty solid exclusive content. That's free. So check out my other channel if you want to see more of me. If you don't, I respect it. And with that, I love you guys very much. I will see you next Monday.